So this is somebody that I have never talked about on my second channel, and in fact, I've really only seen his content like once or twice, and didn't really care. However, I saw a little bit of drama on Twitter, and it apparently involved somebody that I'm familiar with, the Humanist Report, who has been kind of countering some of the weird shit going on with Jimmy Dore. That's a whole another video that I'll have to make at some point. And Jimmy Dore today, or was it yesterday, retweeted. Oh, when this comes out, it's probably like 2 days ago. Retweeted a video by a guy named Jackson Hinkle, and I'm slightly familiar with Jackson, but we decided to see what all the fuss was about, and I started watching it here on stream. And then I caught something really fucking crazy, and I'm like, dude, fuck it. I'm just gonna make a video about it. I don't even give a shit because this is just so weird and so bananas. So here we go. This is a video he put out called "Humanist Report Caught Lying About Jimmy Dore and COVID."
Bro, he's literally still peddling this lie that teachers are being forced to work with COVID. That's a lie, bro. You didn't even read the article. The article is about paid sick leave, not that all these teachers across the country are being forced to go to work with like heinous COVID symptoms or anything like that. Like he's making shit up. He didn't even read the article that he based his whole video on.
Okay, so the fundamental claim here by Jackson Hinkle is that Humanist Report here read an article but didn't actually read the article, and that there was an implication that teachers were being compelled, I think he said forced, but compelled basically to still teach with COVID. And I guess this has something to do with Jimmy Dore and whatever. I don't know the context of that. So we're leaving Jimmy Dore out of it for now. We're only going to listen to what Jackson says versus what he thinks Humanist Report says. So just take a listen to it.
And the teachers who are getting
Also, Jackson, you really need to like figure out your audio when you're watching other people. That is bizarre.
sick, they're out of sick days in many instances. So they're expected to come in while they're positive with COVID, which will obviously expose other people, and that will further...
You dipshit. That's not even what the fucking article said. Did you read the article?
Technically speaking, Jackson is correct. The article doesn't say that people are expected to come to work with COVID. Perhaps that was a misspeaking on Humanist Report. However, this is a very, very specific cut out of context part of what he was talking about. Now, Jackson claims that Humanist Report did not read the article. I don't think Jackson did either. I really don't. And I started to. It's a pretty long article. There's actually quite a lot in it. And there's quite a bit in there that I believe actually backs up what Humanist Report was saying. For instance, if we come over here... Where did it go? Shit. As soon as I fucking, like, maximized it. Okay. Even if folks do have COVID-19 sick leave, there's a concern or reluctance to use it, even if it would be in the best interest of colleagues to use it, said Jared Make, Vice President, Better Balance, etc., etc., etc. There's a fear, what if my child gets sick or my elderly parent? I might need to use some of that time. It's a real shortcoming that we don't have a clear legal right across this country to COVID-19 sick leave specifically, let alone a guaranteed right to sick time. Now, here's where I think that there's actually a good argument to be made that the Humanist Report is not necessarily wrong, but probably phrased it incorrectly. In interviews, some teachers said they've heard anecdotally that some school employees who have mild symptoms are not taking a COVID-19 test because they can't afford to miss work if they test positive. So rather, they would continue to generate their income by going to work and doing so in, blissful unawareness of whether they have it or not, which, if that's the case, it's pretty shitty. There's also an argument to be made that we need to make testing way more available, and I currently myself have gone through that. It's impossible to find an at-home test right now in my city, and they're $40. Like, working class people, we don't pay teachers very much, and they got to pay out of pocket, or they have to sometimes wait 3 weeks to get an appointment to go and get tested. It's that bad over here. I don't know where you guys are living. Maybe it's better where you're at. I hope so. Research may back that up. Workers without paid sick leave are less likely to take time off when ill, according to a study conducted before the pandemic. Now, can we hope that teachers can be smart enough and responsible enough that they will consider that the pandemic is bad enough that they won't engage in that kind of risky behavior? We would like to hope so. I like to think that educating is a noble enough profession that people will do what's in the best interest of the children, but people are still people. We have anti-vax nurses, for fuck's sake, like, who knows? In general, teachers are going to do the right thing and stay home because it's our nightmare to give COVID to our kids. But, Megan Mullally says, it feels like the people who do the right thing are getting punished for it. Now, does this completely shred what Jackson Hinkle was saying? Nah, it doesn't. But at the same time, his assertion that the article says nothing like that is fundamentally wrong. Fundamentally wrong. And also the Humanist report didn't really phrase it very well. But there's a little bit more in this, and this is where I think it's really important that we point something out. So let's let it go a little bit further.
Let's talk about lying about COVID, right? Let's talk about lying about COVID. Because,
Okay.
Humanist report, here's the one who's always like, Jimmy Dore lying about COVID, lying about COVID, lying about... You're the one who's fucking lying about COVID. You put this dumb fucking article up that says some teachers are running out of sick days and administrators are hesitant to help. Clear.
Yeah, that the article pretty much backs that up, that there are definitely a lot of administrations and a lot of lack of state funding and federal funding in order to try and make up the balance of that. That is true.
Clearly, you dumb fuck, you didn't read the article and you're lying to your audience now, because the whole part of the story is that they're running out of paid sick leave reimbursement in these states that have limited supplies of of paid sick leave reimbursements.
I don't think Jackson Hinkle actually read that fucking article. I really don't. Because the thing is, that article is huge. It's a long fucking article. He shows you this much of the article. Here's all the rest of it. We're still going. We're still going. We're still going. There we go. There we go. I don't think he read it either. I don't think he read it at all. I don't. I don't think he paid any more attention to it either. And yeah, I don't know, man.
That's a problem that is not just limited to the COVID pandemic. For example,
Sure.
if you're not in a pandemic and you get the flu a lot, or you get a bunch of fevers or some shit like that, I don't know, some other, sickness, and you can't show up for work over and over again, you might have a limited amount of paid sick leave reimbursement that you can get. There's a certain amount of hours that you can get reimbursed for, right?
Are you advocating for unlimited PTO for teachers? Based.
So that's what they're talking about. They're saying they're running out of paid sick leave reimbursement days. Not that
We'll just ignore, the other 90% of the context and nuance in that very long article. That's fine.
they're running out of sick days, so teachers are being forced to work while they have fucking COVID. You lying fuck. And he just told his audience that. He said teachers are being expected.
All right, anyway, so there's one last thing that I want to touch on with this, and we're going to have to skip ahead just to make this point. But I want to reiterate. His main crux of this is that obviously there are not a bunch of teachers that are being compelled or forced to end up having to work with COVID, okay? That's his main crux of the argument, and then he backs it up by saying that he's just lying because he didn't read the article, and I don't think he read the article either. So he starts playing this CNN clip, and it is actually really interesting because it was found that when they're looking at, specifically in New York State, and looking at people who are in the hospital and they test positive for COVID, only 57% of them are in the hospital for COVID-related issues. It just happens to be that 43% have COVID, but are in for a different purpose, which I don't really know what that's even supposed. I mean, granted, yes, we should be more transparent. They should report their numbers accurately and reflect that. I agree, but that also should be like a very scary statement that it is that infectious and there's that much, and we do have to like address people even if they just broke their arm, and they have COVID. We have to deal with them differently than if they don't have COVID. These are important things, and I think that's 100% fine to point out. But just see where Jackson takes it from here. So let's get into this.
Bring him in the hospital. It just requires a lot of energy and resources on behalf of the hospital staff and the testing and all that sort of stuff. So we need to get better about being able to see this data. New York State, I think, is one of the few states that's presenting it that way for or with COVID, but other states should follow suit. The American Heart Association, American Health.
Sanjay is totally right about it. You know, like we should be more specific in our reporting just for the sake of the integrity of the data. 100%.
Association says they have a hard time sort of separating out that data, but clearly New York State's been able to do it. Other states should do it as well.
Yeah, we're 2 years into this, and we need the clearest picture possible. If somebody's in the hospital with a broken leg and they also have asymptomatic COVID, that should not be counted as hospitalized with COVID, clearly.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Otherwise, we run the risk of addressing this in not the right proportion. The proportionate amount of response versus potential risk. 100%.
As many people as possible to stay home currently, because once again, hospitals are being overrun. And this time it may be worse because Omicron, even if it's more mild, is more contagious. So that is leading to more hospital workers getting sick and staying home. It's leading to staffing shortages that are
true. This is true. And we're going to back it up for a second because Jackson's about to take us right into the main reason why I'm even making this fucking video. Humanist report is totally true, is totally correct. And the thing is, sure, maybe 47% of people who test positive for COVID aren't in the hospital because COVID is so bad that it's, kicking their ass. It's something else that they're in there for. But 57% is still a lot. And it is incredibly contagious. And we have a massive spike going on right now. And if we're trying to stem the tide of these infections, then yes, we need to make sure that these people, if they test positive, address it in a very smart and appropriate way. We try and stem the tide. I don't even know if that's going to fucking help anymore with how crazy everything has gotten, but that's the intention. Now keep in mind, at the beginning of this video, Jackson Hinkle is saying that obviously there's not really a bunch of teachers that are ending up being forced or coerced or ending up having to work with COVID. Talking about teachers, listen to this.
It may be worse because Omicron, even if it's more mild, is more contagious. So that is leading to more hospital workers getting sick and staying home. It's leading to staffing shortages that are...
That's not even true either. In California, so long as you don't have fever symptoms, they're forcing people to go back to work. They're saying go back to work. It doesn't matter. Go back to work. So that's a lie too. These are all lies.
Are causing...
So let me get this straight. It's a lie that that they're having to stay home because in one state there's an article that comes out that says that healthcare workers are being forced to work with COVID, but it's obvious that there's not teachers that are having to, because of economic reasons, being forced to work with COVID. How in the fuck can you not see the massive conflict of interest that's going on here when you can say one thing and then flip it upside down and say it about something else, both of which are essential workers that are dealing with at-risk populations? How in the fuck does somebody twist their own head around so much? And the only reason that he would do this, that somebody like Jackson Hinkle would do this, one is for politics, and two, to desperately try and find some way to just own the dude he's talking about. I don't fucking get this shit. Like, it's so bizarre to me. It's so bizarre. He has to remove any and all context whatsoever from one argument and then try and flip it around for the other argument. This is so fucking bizarre to me. I don't get it. I don't know how anybody can actually do this if they possess an IQ higher than a Labrador. Holy shit. It's so fucking bizarre. And like, okay, look, you know what? Fine. I'm just gonna put it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do this, but I'm just gonna do it because honestly, I don't think Jackson Hinkle is an honest actor. This just reeks of fucking propagandist dog shit. So you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna point it out. We're just gonna point it out here. Jackson Hinkle, Santa is real. The Tooth Fairy leaves money under your pillow. The United States military is fighting wars to defend our country. His dad and his mom ratioed the shit out of him. I'm Santa. You never complained when you got the gifts. Yes, we were such assholes sneaking you money under your pillow. Never once did your mother or I tell you the military is fighting wars to defend our country. That's a bold-faced lie on your part. Yeah, ratioed by your parents. I don't know, man. I don't think you're an honest actor. And oh, shit. Oh, my shit went down. I don't think you're an honest actor, and I think this whole thing falls flat with even just the tiniest amount of scrutiny. So, yeah, fuck that. Dude, clown shoes content, dude.